Hey guys, Swapnil here, back with another video, and in this video, let's take a closer look at the phone which changed everything for Samsung. This is the Samsung Galaxy S3, which was launched back in 2012 around the time frame of April-May, and it took the market by a storm. It was one of the biggest phones of the time. It had a 4.8-inch 720p AMOLED display, and it had pretty less amount of bezels for the time. Okay, now it may feel that this device has a lot of bezels, but for the time in 2012, this was considered as a less bezel phone. Talking about the display first, it had an AMOLED panel, and back then it was a big deal. Comparing it to today's phones, for example, this is the OnePlus 3, and still you can see how contrasty the panel on the S3 is even compared to the OnePlus 3. OnePlus 3 by no means has a bad display, it has an amazing display, but then compare it side by side with the Galaxy S3, I feel the S3 has a better display, or to say the least, a more contrast heavy display. So people like that, right? Of course they did. And talking about the cameras now, basically, as always, Samsung has been famous for three things on every phone: the camera, the front facing camera, the back facing camera, and the display. And nowadays they're also known for their build quality, which they changed with the S3, and now the S8, S9 have all such displays, and the body also of that metal and glass bodies. So here the camera was one of the best for the time. I still feel this is better than entry-level phones today. So as you can see, I took this in low light. To compare, I took a similar photo with the S8. So as you can see, not much of a big difference. Okay, of course difference is there, but then I feel for a phone a phone which was launched 6 years ago, it still is very decent. This is more, the S3 produces a bit more cooler looking image, the S8 has a bit more warmer looking image. This was taken in low light, as you can see. The S3 has a bit grainier image, and the S8 is a bit more clean due to obvious reasons. The S3 is a bit more cool, and the S8 is a bit more warm. But considering that this is a 6-year-old phone, I'll give it a pass. The S8 has a f1.7 camera. This, on the other hand, has a f2.6 camera. Given the f2.6, this produces some great looking images in low light, even today, considering the fact that this is a 6-year-old phone. One of the biggest selling point of this phone was the removable back panel. Even though this was very flexible, it was kinda durable. But then, this is my second back panel. I already broke my first back panel. It had some cracks and all, so I replaced it with the second one. And coming here, looking at this structure here, we have the battery, which is user removable, which is a great thing. We had a micro SD card slot and a SIM card a micro SIM card slot. And here is the camera, the LED flash, and the speaker. And of course, in 2012, headphone jacks were common, so this has a headphone jack on the top. On the bottom, it had a micro USB port and a microphone port. Volume rockers here, power button here. As you can see, overall, this has survived the test of time. It has some minor scuffs and scratches all around, but then that is expected after 6 years of usage. I haven't used this phone for 6 years. I started using this phone in early 2014, and I used it till mid 2016 until I got the OnePlus 3, and later I switched to the S8. So I was really happy when I was using this phone, but then one problem which I have always faced with Samsung devices in the past was that of lagging issues. With the S8, I haven't faced it yet, so I'm happy with the S8. But with the S3, when I was using it, I had loads and loads of lagging issues. Even, I'll try to show it now on camera. Even today, the web browsing experience is still very decent. See, as you can see, it does lag a little bit. So even when I flick, it takes a second to respond. So Samsung's UI back in the day was quite quirky. They've kind of streamlined it now, but then back in the day it wasn't the best. So it's currently running on Android version 4.3, that's Jelly Bean, so it's very old. What I'm actually planning to do is I'll root this device and I'll flash a custom OS on this, and then again I'll make a video about it and how is it that I'm using S3 in 2018 and I'm still happy with it. So I'll probably make a new video about it when I flash that custom OS. Coming to the camera again, let's talk about the UI and all. So as you can see, this is the user interface itself. Everything was well placed. This was one of the first phones to implement things like panorama. As you can see, this was one of the first phones to implement panorama, share shot, HDR. It also had a separate mode for low light, where this basically makes the photos a bit more warmer to produce more light. Anyways, app opening speeds are still kinda okay, you can do with it, but then don't expect a performance similar to today's flagships because this is a 6-year-old device. You can see for yourself. Now comparing it with the S8, just for the way they look, Samsung has come a long way. So they had a very different design scheme back in the day, and now they are at a completely different level. So when the S3 came, it was okay to have a plastic body, but then the S4, the S5 had plastic bodies, and later on with the S6 they switched to metal and glass. So of course there's a big difference between the build quality of the S3 and the S8. The S8 looks and feels much more premium than the S3 does. So that would be it, guys, for the video where I taken a closer look at the Galaxy S3. Let me know if you ever used the S3 and what are your fond memories with it, or any S device in the past like the S4, the S5, S6, maybe the S7, and let me know your opinions about those devices and in what direction should Samsung go ahead with the S series. Thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button down below, and also don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. Links to all of them are in the description.